What if the thing you spend years trying to fix about yourself was never the problem? If you've been called too sensitive, too much, too emotional, this video is for you. A lot of the times we hear those labels very early on in our lives. I'm sure I've heard it before I was even 6. And you probably have too. Now, what happens when we hear those phrases over and over again, and maybe sometimes even one time, it sticks into our system. And a lot of the times, being sensitive is not something bad. Being sensitive is actually your nervous system. I'll talk about this from a physical, bodily, somatic perspective. Whenever we hear those phrases, whenever somebody tells you, even especially when you were a kid, but even as an adult, you hear things like, oh, you're too emotional. Oh, you're too much. Why don't you change your outfit? Why don't you react differently? Why don't you keep your opinions to yourself? It's all going into your system, and your system feels like you are a problem, or something about you is a problem, and then you or your mind internalize that as you are the problem. So you get that, and then you walk around the world thinking and feeling, more than thinking, but feeling and physically feeling that you're the problem. So what happens then, our nervous system gets into that perspective, or that information, physical information, that you're the problem. And there are many theories that talk about how the body remembers. There's even scientific facts that show us that the body remembers, and trauma can be stored in the body. So a lot of the times when we hear those things, we actually get them inside, like physically, we literally feel them on our bodies. Now, in terms of what happens to our mind from that perspective, it locks in as language. Let's call it a language. It locks in as some sort of language that we start to believe. We start to believe in. And a thought that we keep on thinking over and over again becomes a belief. So if you heard it even one time, but if you heard it a few times in your life, you start to think, oh, maybe I am too much. Oh, maybe I am not enough. Maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I do need to keep my opinions to myself. So it registers as that type of language, and then you think it, and then over time you start to believe it. So it goes on two lanes: that the physical, the body, your body remembers, and then the mind, from your mental and mind perspective, you believe it. So these two lanes are not bad. There's nothing wrong with you, right? I can share from my experience. I've heard those phrases a long time before I can even remember, but I remember that I did hear it growing up. I heard it growing up as like a teenager, but back then I was kind of like rebelling it, so I gave like two shits about it. And then when I went into my first, or I don't know, but one of my first relationships with men, he kept on telling me, oh, these shoes are too much. This outfit is too much. This color is too much. So I started hearing over and over again, too much, you're too much, you're too much. What happens? Again, two lanes. My body physically started feeling it, restoring it, and then my mind started to believe it. Oh, I'm too much. So what happens is, again, physically, I shrunk myself. I probably looked like I shrunk myself. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Thank God I left that relationship. And in my mind, I believed I was too much. So in my mind and my body, my behavior caught up with both. So my behavior was, I didn't speak my mind. My behavior was whenever I wore those shoes that guy was saying that they're too much, I felt bad. I didn't want to wear them. I didn't wear them. You see? So the physical and the mindset work together on that, because then it starts to determine your behavior. I'm looking at my notes so I won't forget what I wanted to talk to you about. But then what happens is really it creates an exhausted nervous system. So your nervous system is just exhausted. And then when your nervous system is so exhausted, what you probably heard the fight or flight or freeze mechanism. It's an old mechanism that we all have and we all operate by. And so what happens when your nervous system is exhausted, the fight or flight or freeze goes into effect. And then each time a little thing that's kind of in your way registers as danger. So if somebody is not agreeing with you, the simplest, just not agreeing with you, and it's not a big deal, it's just somebody, your friend is just telling you, oh, well, you know what, I don't agree, it's not an argument, but your system thinks it's danger. You see, it's very, very small and very subtle, but those two lanes, the physical and the mind, go together and create that stress in your nervous system. And when your nervous system is stressed and exhausted over time, again, every little thing, every little setback, every little rejection, every little something that kind of doesn't go your way, your nervous system reacts to it or registers it as danger. So here's what we can do. Before I'll tell you what we can do, I just want to make sure we all remember that, I talk a lot about ancient wisdom, and we all want to remember that ancient wisdom taught us that the body and the soul are connected. The body and the soul are not separate. So taking care of your body, of your physical, is sacred. Now, here's what we can do about it. This is a tool that can change your life slowly if you start doing it even today. Very simple, and you can do it for free. So you sit down for 60 seconds. You sit down, put your feet on the ground. Make sure your feet are on the ground, not anything else. Your feet are on the ground. You sit down and you breathe in through your nose 4 times, and then you exhale through your mouth 4 times in the count of 4, not 4 times. So you inhale. Let's do it together. So you inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you do it a few times, 3, 4 times. You do it. Your feet are on the ground, and you look around you. And you start naming, if you can name out loud, do it out loud. But if you're around people, you don't have to. You start naming 3 objects, 3 things that you see around you. So in my case, I can say, I see a plant, I see a dresser, and I see a phone that's in front of me that I'm recording. Okay? So whenever you feel that moment of discomfort, a moment that your system is imbalanced, something is going on, you don't know what it is, maybe you're starting to sweat, maybe your heart beats a little faster, maybe you just feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it's just really feeling uncomfortable. Sit down, take a moment. It's literally 60 seconds, and it can change your entire perspective, because what it does, it works in both lanes. It works in the physical lane that we talked about, the body. So you're releasing that tension from the body. And then in your mind, you get out of that fight or flight mode, because you're naming things that you can see. So you're present. You bring your mind to be present in the moment. And from that perspective, from that shift, that's when you react. That's when you operate. Try this. Let me know you did. Let me know how you feel after. Come back to this video or save it for later. Subscribe to my channel. I love you. Have a wonderful time.